Man, oh man, there is a lot of talent on this Lions roster.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And a good Friday, everybody. What's going on? Weekend is upon us. Matt Derry with you. It is a Friday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day on Friday, July 19th into Saturday, July 20th. Tomorrow, the rookies must report to Allen Park and get started with a couple of days of practice before the entire team reports next week. What is it, Saturday, Sunday? Tuesday, first training camp practice on Wednesday, football next week, ladies and gentlemen, as the Detroit Lions will return to Allen Park and training camp. All the training camp tickets already sold out as we get you ready for a Friday installment of Locked On Lions. Thank you for making us your first listen and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter at Derry Speaks, at Locked On Lions, Matt Derry Facebook fan page, and also thank you for subscribing and watching us for free on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. The show today is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Thank you to our everydayers who are out there that watch or listen to the show. I've had a lot of comments lately about Jeff Risdon yesterday from the Lions Wire. He was tremendous. So if you missed yesterday's show, please go back and watch it or listen to it. Jeff from Lions Wire he's just a great guest. He's a great talker. He knows the Lions well. He and I have a good chemistry. He's been a guest on the show for years, and we love having Jeff on the show. Speaking of special guests, on Monday, the legendary, the soon-to-be after today, former Detroit News Lions beat writer, Justin Rogers, on the show Monday. He will break his silence on why he's no longer covering this team, why he's no longer at the Detroit News. JR Monday. Don't miss it right here on Locked On Lions. He's probably going to go on his Twitter and break it before that, but whatever. We're going to have him on the show. We love Justin, and we will talk to him coming up on Monday. All right. We've been talking about this a little bit on the show throughout the last few weeks, and that is that ESPN did their top 10 players at every position the last few weeks with a poll from NFL executives, coaches, and scouts. Jeremy Fowler wrote all the stories from ESPN. And you take a look at the list of players and you take a look at all the top 10s, and it breaks down like this. The teams with the most top 10 players, the Niners had 9. All right, San Francisco has a lot of talent. Christian McCaffrey, Nick Bosa, the list goes on and on. All right, they've got a lot of talent on the Niners. We know that. Trent Williams, all right. Coming in second with 7, it's a tie. Lions, Chiefs, and Ravens. The Lions have 10 top 10 players at their position. Jared Goff is a top 10 quarterback, according to ESPN. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a top 10 wide receiver. Sam Laporta, we know, is a top 10 tight end. Penei Sewell is a top 10 tackle. Frank Ragnow is a top 10 center. Aiden Hutchinson is a top 10 edge. And Jahmyr Gibbs at number 8 overall for running backs is a top 10 running back. Philadelphia has 6 top 10 players. Houston has 6. The Browns have 6. The Packers come in at 5. So Green Bay is only 2 behind the Lions. These lists would come out every year for decades. Decades. All right. And not just saying this list, this is sort of new, but there would be, Pro Football Weekly or Sports Illustrated or whatever back in the day before it was ESPN and everything else doing this. The Lions never had 7 players as top 10 players in this league. And we can talk about coaching. And we can talk about Dan Campbell and the job that he's done. He's done a great job. His staff is terrific. But if you don't have talent, If you don't have the guys that can go out there and do it, Nick Saban just talked about this on the ESPYs the other night, thanking his players and saying, look, I just put this group of guys in the position. They're the ones that did it. If you don't have the talent, if you don't have the material, as Beano Cook used to say, you're not going to win. And to look at this list and see some of the heavyweight teams on the list, the Niners, the Chiefs, the Ravens, and to see the Lions right there with all of them, with 7 top 10 players, all of them, except Frank Ragnow, all of them were brought in by Brad Holmes originally, right? Frank Ragnow was a Bob Quinn draft pick. Other than that, 6 of the 7 were brought in here and welcomed to Detroit by Brad Holmes. Man, you got to just, for people, for the haters that are out there saying, oh, the Lions, maybe last year was a little bit of a fluke or I don't see them doing what they did. 7 top 10 players at their position. You got to have the horses. Got the quarterback. That's so important. You got his weapons and receivers and St. Brown and Laporta. That's important. You got to protect him. Ragnow, Sewell, important. Got to get to the quarterback. Hutchinson, they got that. All right. They don't have any top 10 corner, but I'm telling you, by the end of this season, they're going to have a top 10 safety in Brian Branch if he moves there. Go back and listen to what Jeff Risdon had to say yesterday about Brian Branch. But this is real. And it's so cool to see. It's like I said, all of we all used to read these magazines. We always go on the internet and it'd be like, oh my God, the Lions had 2 top 10 players. Oh man, we got Calvin and we got Sue and we got Stafford. All right, what else you got? Nothing. We went on and on for years doing this. Got to have the talent. And man, to see this, look, the Niners have 9 guys. All right. The Lions are going to have to knock off the big bad Niners if they want to get to the Super Bowl. San Francisco is loaded and they're making a run for it this year. But the Lions are right there, man. They're right there. And you love that executives, scouts, coaches, players all believe in guys like Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta, who have played 1 season in the league. Laporta came on like crazy last year, right? Anybody that says he's not a top 5 tight end needs to be drug tested. But there will be predictions. There will be all of this that happens. There will be injuries. But there's depth. And I'm going to talk about DJ Reader in a minute, who made a list. We'll do that after the break. But that's another player that you could say is arguably a top 10 interior defensive lineman or a tackle. There's a lot of roster depth. There's a lot of talent, and it's going to be on display 3 out of the first 4 weeks at Ford Field, which is also very, very exciting. So, man, that's cool. All right, let me take a deep breath here on Locked On Lions, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It is a Friday edition. We are back to doing 5 shows a week. We appreciate you making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcast. Tonight, Tigers and Blue Jays back at it. Don't forget to subscribe and watch on YouTube, Locked On Detroit Sports, the postcast with Jake Riepma. He'll be on right after Tigers and Jays doing a postcast. If you're new to that, check it out right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Coming up, DJ Reader. Yes, getting some love nationally. We will explain coming up right here on a Friday edition of the Locked On Lions. All right, folks, Locked On Lions today brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Motors or eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. And Locked On Lions today brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. You're hiring for your small business. You want to find quality professionals that are right for the position. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. It is simple. You put that purple hiring circle around your picture. People know you're hiring. You get qualified candidates and quality candidates to interview. It only takes like 3 or 4 minutes to even post this thing on LinkedIn. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. I'm on there every day. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open for a perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. Post your job for free, folks, at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Back on Locked On Lions on a Friday edition, Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Jeff Risdon joined us yesterday. Justin Rogers, soon to be formerly of the Detroit News, will join us on Monday on this very program. We are excited to get Justin on to find out what's next for JR, our main man. Great writer. And shame on the Detroit News for letting them loose, letting them walk. You got a good one going. That's not good. I'm a subscriber. I pay to read the Det News. Come on, folks, get it together. I'm going to get myself in trouble. All right, so a list is out at NFL.com. The top 30 NFL players over 30. Top 30 NFL players over 30 entering the 2024 season. No surprise, Tyreek Hill is number 1. Trent Williams, who's 36. I can't believe that. Number 2. Chris Jones of the Chiefs, number 3. Dak Prescott, number 4, who's 31. Thanks to many of our listeners and viewers last week who pointed out that I said Dak was 34 last week. My bad. Stat Padford, Matthew Stafford, number 5 at age 36. Devontae Adams, number 6 at 31. George Kittle is 30 years old, number 7. Then you got Lane Johnson, Laramie Tunsil, and Travis Kelce, rounding out the top 10. One Detroit Lion made this list. Now, number 1, that means the Lions have a lot of young talent. They do. Lions are one of the younger teams in the league. But the Lions do have a player that made this list. At number 30, none other than DJ Reader, who is 30 years old. They write in the story at NFL.com, I can't think of a better way to close out these rankings than with a tribute to a Reader. Seriously, though, DJ is a stud. He doesn't have the accolades that others on this list have, and some were left off of it, can be placed on the mantle, but it's not his job to do the things that get the glory. Reader's task is to make sure his team wins at the line of scrimmage, and he's great at it, which is why the Lions were willing to guarantee a 30-year-old interior D lineman more than $9 million, even though he's coming off a torn quad that might keep him from being ready for the start of training camp. Don't just take my word for it. Quote, here's what his former D coordinator, the Bengals' Lou Anarumo, had to say about Reader in February. Quote, you can't look at DJ Reader in that position and say, let me look at his numbers. Even though he has good numbers for the position, he is just dominant when it comes to taking on blocks, taking on double teams, and not getting moved. And that allows other people to make plays. And when you don't have that, it creates other issues. End quote. That's pretty sweet. Lions didn't even have any honorable mentions either. One player made the top 30, and that is DJ Reader. What I love about what Anarumo said there in a second was you don't look at the numbers, right? You don't. DJ Reader's never made a Pro Bowl. He was on our Pro Bowl list last week that we went over of guys that could be first-time Lion Pro Bowlers this year, and it's because the numbers aren't sexy. But At 30 years old, guaranteed $9 million, the Lions are expecting him to really, really clog up that middle and also get to the passer. And, we talked about it a little bit yesterday with Jeff Risdon. Could the Lions be in play for Matthew Judon and send over maybe a future third-round pick, a 4 and a 6, something like that to get him? Lions don't have a 3 this year. Because then you would have, and I like Marcus Davenport, but you would have Hutchinson and Judon with Reeder and McNeil, and that would be as dominant a defensive line as this team has had since probably the Doug English, Bubba Baker days. Now, I don't know if Brad Holmes is willing to give up that draft capital. How healthy is Judon? That's another story. My point is, Reeder makes this D-line so much better, so much more ferocious, so much more exciting and good. And all of the guys that have been shuttled through, and I know Broderick Martin is a guy they're thinking about this year. Levi Onwuzurike, maybe the kid from the CFL, Matthew Betts, plays a role. They've got Pascal and Kaminsky that they rotate in and out as both edges and D tackles. But the man that is going to stir the drink next to Aleem McNeil is going to be DJ Reeder. There's no more Quentin Bohannas, Benito Joneses that are rotating in. Right? You can never have enough defensive linemen. And so DJ Reeder making that list, coming in at number 30, is very, very cool. Heck, I think he could have even been higher. But this is a guy that, with his experience, played in the Super Bowl with Cincinnati, been on good teams, is going to come in and I think be great. Issue is the torn quad. Will he be ready for training camp? Will he be rusty come September 8th? Because they're not going to play him in the preseason. There's no point in DJ Reeder playing against the Giants, the Chiefs, or the Steelers in preseason. So I'm excited. And I love that he made that list. But you know what else I loved about that list? There was only one Lion on it, meaning there's so much young talent on this team. I mentioned Goff and Goff's going to be 30 this year, but St. Brown, Laporta, Sewell, Ragnow, Hutchinson, these guys are all low to mid 20s. Gibbs, 23. It's controllable talent and it's young talent. All right. This is a team whose window is wide open and not closing anytime soon. Not at all. But DJ Reeder, if you get 2 great years out of him, maybe even re-up him for a third or something like that, man, that's going to be a huge boost to this defense. They have not had a dominant interior defensive line duo since Sue and Fairley. And even Nick was never healthy. So this is a great opportunity for this team to be even better defensively, be even more dominant than they were at the end of last year. And I know they gave up a lot of yards and the passing defense was not good and everything else, but you saw the defense get better this past year. You saw progress made. And now DJ Reeder is going to be great. I really believe that. I just hope he's healthy. I mentioned before about this. Rookies reporting tomorrow. That is all the undrafted rookie free agents, guys like Isaiah Williams, etc., and then all the draft picks. We made it. We did it. There's going to be football this weekend in Allen Park. Now, rookies working out is one thing. Next week, when they start training camp on Wednesday and really practice shells and helmets, they'll get to the pads eventually. But we made it. We've been waiting. And again, the biggest thing is going to be, knock on wood. I've got some wood somewhere over here. I'm knocking on it. Staying healthy. That's the biggest thing. Staying healthy. There's depth now. There's more depth than usual. Very intrigued to seeing how some of these position battles go. But we know this. If someone goes down, there's guys that can come up. I know Jeff Risdon talked yesterday about the offensive line depth, which is a question mark. But there's depth everywhere else. It really is. So that's exciting that rookies report tomorrow and hit the field on Sunday. All right, coming up next, our Speak Pipe call of the day. We do have a new voicemail, which we will play for you next. One of our everydayers checked in from out of state. That's next on a Friday Locked On Lions. Locked On Lions is brought to you by BetterHelp. Are you thinking about talking to somebody? Maybe you're looking at what other people do on social media, which plays a part in how you compare your life to others. What do you do when you get caught up wishing your life looked like someone else's? All right, comparison is a thief of joy, and it's easy to envy other people's lives. It might look like they have it all together on their Instagram or whatever, but in reality, they probably don't. Therapy can help you focus on what you want instead of what other people have, so you can start living your best life. If you're thinking about starting up therapy, I suggest you give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Stop comparing and start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/lockedon today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon. All right, folks, we've told you about leaving a voicemail for the show at speakpipe.com/dairy podcast page. That's speakpipe, PIPE.com/dairy, DERY podcast page. We've had a lot of great submissions over the last couple of weeks. We try to do a call of the day as much as we can. Today, our call of the day, I cue this up right here, comes from out of state. Call of the day from our speak pipe. Here we go.
Hey, Matt, Zach here, everydayer out of Phoenix, Arizona. Question for you is, I'm curious your engagement with the team. So if you're ever in Allen Park, do you get access to speak to any of the players or coaches, Brad Holmes? And if so, really curious what your interactions have been like with Dan Campbell, what you guys spoke about. And if you haven't met him, curious what you would ask him. So, yeah, love the show. Hope to get on. Thanks.
All right, so that is our buddy Zach, an everydayer out of state. And we appreciate him chiming in and listening and leaving a voicemail. Thank you, Zach, for doing that. Here's the thing with me. For years, I covered the Lions for various radio stations, whether it was WDFN, 97.1, and then, if you recall, we tried something crazy at Detroit Sports 105.1 where I was up on like a crane in overlooking, I was like 100 feet in the air, overlooked almost 200 feet in the air on this crane doing my show. And it was a little crazy, but it was a great idea by our then program director, Jason Dixon. I get down there when I can. It's, Zach asked a good question. I have not interacted with Dan Campbell, nor have I interacted with Brad Holmes. When I have sources within the building, as you guys know, and when I'm hearing things, I share it. But no, I because I have a 9-to-5 job and I run marketing and business development for two companies here in town, Financial Architects and Q5 Experience. I'm very busy during the day, and then I do the podcast at night. I am no longer a reporter. I'm not. I'm an entertainer. This podcast is entertaining, hopefully for you. The Lions and I have a very good relationship. Their media relations people are incredible and good to me. Eamon Reynolds, Solly Williams, the whole crew there. They're fantastic. So they've been good to me. Last year when I wanted to come to the first playoff game, no problem. I was there. I was in the press box, got to see everybody. So if I ever need to get down there, I can. They have been very, very good to me. But because of my schedule, I really haven't had interactions a lot with a lot of the current players or regime. I have a lot of alumni friends, a lot of the former players I know very well, and sometimes they source some stuff for me and tell me some things that they have heard. We've had Lomas on the show. I talk to my guy Richard Dirt Jordan all of the time, and some others who will remain nameless. But no, Zach, to answer your question, I probably not need to probably get to camp at some point if my schedule will allow it, and I'll hit up the Lions about that. But the Lions have been fantastic. They've been great to me, very, very good to me, and so I do need to get down there a little bit more. And shout out to the beat writers; they do such a great job. All of them, not just the newspaper people, but Pride of Detroit and Jeremy and Eric. Jeff, Lions Wire, everybody is so good. That makes my job a little bit easier here to tell you the news of the day, give you my opinions and all of that. So thank you for chiming in, Zach, on our SpeakPipe. Let's get some of your submissions in as well. Speakpipe.com/Dairy Podcast page. We'll play another call of the day on Monday, maybe Monday or Tuesday, depending how long we go with Justin Rogers. If there's anything you missed this week, including Jeff Risdon yesterday, go back and check it out right here on Locked On Lions, wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for making us your first listen and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, watching too on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Rookies reporting this weekend. Oh, just awesome. This is going to be great. I can't remember a more anticipated season than this, right? I mean, this is not since I've been here, and I've been here since 96. Maybe 92, maybe 94, but this is awesome. So thanks for checking us out, everybody. Back again on Monday with Justin Rogers right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.